Hello, my name is Mónica Fuentes. In November 2022, I passed my CHT exam on the first attempt, and then I became the first CHT in Mexico and one out of two people in Latin America to achieve this. It was a long road. It took me 8 years to achieve it, from the moment I knew this existed to the moment I was able to pass the test. There are no schools, no universities, no degrees, nothing here in Mexico. So I had to ask a friend to send me a book from the States, the Purple Book, and then I started reading on my own. And then I traveled to Baltimore to take the review test. And then when I traveled, I found out I knew nothing about the ligaments and the triquetum, and we didn't know anything about Latin and so on. So I returned to Mexico and I said I had to study some more. So then I studied on my own some years, and then I found out the virtual hand-to-shoulder fellowship, and I took that in the pandemic, and then I decided to take the test, and then I did it. It was a long journey, but it was incredibly rewarding. What it has meant to have become a CHT here in my country, it's really important to hold this certification because many doctors still don't give the credit to what therapists do, particularly in hand therapy. There are many colleagues who tell patients there is no such a thing as hand therapy, there doesn't exist hand therapy. And that's crazy, you know, that physical therapists and occupational therapists say that hand therapy doesn't exist. So part of what I'm doing is I'm teaching colleagues, I'm teaching doctors, I'm holding lectures, I'm trying to go to universities and teach students that there is such a thing, so that they find out that there are specialties. So maybe there are some hand therapists hiding in there, so they can get inspired and become hand therapists. There are many incredibly talented hand therapists in Latin America, even though there are not many CHTs, but there are many hand therapy associations in Latin America: Argentina, Chile, Colombia. The Mexican one is just like 2 years old, so we're very young still, but we're getting there. And even though we don't have many CHTs, but there are many hand therapists. The language barrier is always a problem because in many Latin American countries, we don't learn anatomy in Latin, we learn it in Spanish. So for example, to study for the test, we would have to learn Latin, the muscles in Latin, and then also English. So that would make it difficult. That's why there are not many people who becoming CHTs. But I would say that in the future, I'm hoping to see many more people becoming CHTs in Latin America because we have to become more visible. There are many people which are very talented. So people in Latin America, come along. This is a great community with great level. And I'm very grateful to be a part of this community. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my story. Thank you so much.